I want to use this time right now to transition to giving you a chance to share with our listeners, and particularly students listening right now. Thinking of undergraduate students, Hmong undergraduate students, as you look over your academic career so far as an undergrad, working for a little bit, and now as a law student who's about to graduate. Can you first share some valuable lessons you've learned personally?
Yeah, sure. I think the biggest lesson is for me has been to not count yourself out. Like, don't be the person who takes yourself out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that it's someone else making that call because they're forcing you to leave and not that you're just choosing not to take up certain opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
As a high school student, I was very naive and I thought, I should try to do everything. And
Mm-hmm.
so I applied to schools widely. I just applied everywhere. And it didn't even matter to me that I didn't think I would get in. It was just like, it won't hurt. And then as I went to college and I got a little older and I learned more about the world, I started thinking, oh, I don't think I'll get that opportunity because only people who are like this get that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I wouldn't apply to things or like I would think, oh, I'm not qualified or like I wouldn't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just wouldn't try for it. And the biggest lesson that, at the end of my law school career, I'm thinking, I really should have tried for those other things that I thought that I couldn't do, because if I chose not to do them, then I would never know if I could do them.
Mm.
So this like applies to basically every part of life. Like if you want to do something, then you should try to do it because you won't be able to do it if you don't try.
Mm.
So like I heard a statistic recently that on average, men apply to jobs when they're about 60% qualified, and then they think I'll learn the rest on the job. And on average, women apply when they're like 100% qualified, and
Mm-hmm.
women are just counting themselves out for that 40% when they're applying to jobs. And like I think for me, I would advise people to apply to things like you're a man. Just apply when you don't
Mm-hmm.
think you're qualified, but
Mm-hmm.
but you might get it anyway, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can learn.
Right, or not necessarily think you're a man, but just think that you're qualified, right?
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
hey, you're just as qualified as these men are, and the men are probably not always as qualified, anyways. And I'd like you to share, I guess, two pieces of advice. One, kind of a general advice to students about, I guess, your thoughts on what it takes to be a successful student and just to be successful, I guess, generally as they graduate, either for grad school or for working life. And then another particular set of advice for students who want to go to law school. And what they can be doing as an undergrad student now to prepare them for law school. So some general advice and then particular advice about law school.
Okay. So general advice, I would say, um, I think have a mentality and an attitude of working hard
Mm-hmm.
is necessary to get through undergrad and do well in undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very easy to surround yourself with people who are like who when you say, oh, I didn't do that well on that
Mm-hmm.
test, they'll say, oh, me neither, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of fall into this mentality of lower expectations for
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Just I think being able to recognize, like, okay, I didn't do so well, what can I do to do better? Like when I first started undergrad, I thought to myself, I didn't do that well on that test. Oh well, like other people didn't do well, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then toward the middle and end of my undergrad, I started thinking, okay, no, I need to get help when I don't understand things. And I started going to like office hours every week, and I would, like know TAs personally because I was just always
Mm-hmm.
around. So I think reaching out when you need help and making sure that you don't just fall into the mindset of oh, I don't really care, like, because I think the culture now among young people is to pretend like you don't care about things,
Mm-hmm.
pretend like everything comes easily to you, and because it's like the cool thing to do. So I think just know it's not bad
Mm-hmm.
to work hard. It's not bad to show
Mm-hmm.
that you care about things. Um, and specifically for law school, when you're an undergrad, I think this is your best opportunity to, because law schools will, I think I would say like 80 to 90% of law school admissions is your GPA and your LSAT score.
Mm-hmm.
And your GPA is something that you can't change after you graduated. So it's like perfect opportunity. Just
Mm-hmm.
work really hard, get as high grades as you can, because that will be like one of the determining factors of which law schools you can get into. And then for your LSAT, I actually didn't know that you could study for the LSAT, but you
Uh-huh.
can.
Uh-huh.
And there's like a whole industry
Mm-hmm.
around studying for the LSAT.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are classes that you can take that will teach you specific LSAT test taking techniques, and there are like books that you can read. I spent maybe 3 months studying, where I would go to work because I was not in school anymore, but I would go to work and I would work until like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then I'd come home and I'd study from 4 until like 9. And
Wow.
yeah, so then
Uh,
like it was like a very intense studying
uh-huh.
schedule. So like make sure you study and prepare for the LSAT, because it's a very studyable test. Like when I first took the test, I like the very first practice test that I took
Mm-hmm.
without studying at all. I think I got like around a median score. And
Mm-hmm.
then after I studied a bit, my like score jumped up like 10, 15 points. So it's like, it's very studyable.
Mm-hmm.
You should definitely study, look up study techniques on the internet, because
Mm-hmm.
the internet is like a treasure trove
Mm-hmm.
of information about how to take the LSAT.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so that's the biggest thing, is study for the LSAT, make sure to keep your GPA up.
Watch, listen, and share these valuable moments.